what is motivating us, what is driving us. I want you to get more specific about your skills and your talents. And I really want you to get more confident about what you bring to the table, regardless of your experience. You can Google, you can look up anything, you can enroll in a program, and you can gain the knowledge and skills. But what you can't ever gain if you don't do the work is that internal confidence in yourself. Hi, everyone. It's Casey, and welcome to the Mindful Malibu Morning, a place for conversations surrounding self-development, growth, personal motivation, and mental health and wellness. We all have the ability to show up for ourselves in a really powerful way. So I invite you to join me each week as we have discussions on various topics, all aimed to help you self-reflect on your world and move forward in a positive way so that you're creating the change and the growth that you are excited to see in yourself. And I'm excited to see everything around you just start to transpire and unfold in such a beautiful way when we put the time and energy into ourselves. So welcome back, or welcome for the very first time. I invite you to sit with me. If you have a cup of coffee, if it's in the evening and you have a glass of wine, that's okay too. Wherever you're sitting and enjoying this conversation, I invite you to receive the information, to have thoughtful discussions. You can follow me on Instagram at the Mindful Malibu Morning. I have a new announcement that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys. Mondays are for motivation, movement, and meditations. I believe that our days sometimes get wrenches thrown in them. So you might need a meditation, you might need a quick 10-minute encouragement to move your body, or you may need just an affirmation or a motivation to get you going. So the meditations and motivations are short 10-minute bonus episodes that will be released on Mondays. And the meditations up on YouTube have beautiful backgrounds of nature, the mountains, clouds, oceans, and they're all just 10 minutes. They're super easy and they have different focus points. So the one coming up on Monday, the one that was just released, is more of a powerful, motivating affirmation. It has a meditation in it, but it is meant to inspire you and encourage you to just close your eyes and envision the person that you want to be and us living this beautiful, powerful life and things coming easy to us. And I really believe that when we have a positive outlook and we expect good things start happening for us and to us. So if you are interested in these free guided meditations, again, they're only 10 minutes long. They'll be released on Mondays. They're also available on YouTube. And I find that meditation sometimes can be something that is vague and open, and if you've never done it before, or if you just feel like you need a little bit of guidance, the meditations are great because there's a message along with them. There's a little bit of quiet, there's breathing, there's music, and then again, you've got that nature in the background so that you can really take the time and the space to get centered. And that's what Mondays are for. So if you need a motivational tool, a movement of your body, or a quick meditation, that's what you have to look forward to. And as we dive into our main topic on our weekly Mindful Malibu Morning episodes, again, they're centered around self-development, growth, and such a huge component of our lives are our career. This is our professional space. So many of us spend more time with our colleagues than we do our own families. So many of us sit and daydream and wonder if life is going to get any better because we feel completely stuck in a position that we can't help ourselves from getting out of. We feel like we are just in too deep. We have the degree and the experience, and how do I transition out of this space? And some of us might be having a huge major life transition like myself, where perhaps you are going back to work after a maternity leave, or you've had something happen that has put a pause in your resume and you're looking to gain that confidence back and really get focused and clear on what your next move, what your next step is. I have a master's degree in educational counseling, and a huge portion of my time and experience has been set really in the field of career development, career coaching, and helping individuals identify their skills and how do we match that with jobs and positions that we want to put ourselves in the future. So we're not just looking at your resume and we're not just looking at a job opportunity. I want to get deeper with you guys. I want to get deeper in the sense that we are talking about our values, what is motivating us, what is driving us to be in the field and the position that we want to be in. I want you to get more specific about your skills and your talents. And I really want you to get more confident about what you bring to the table, regardless of your experience. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Specifically is career confidence, how to take charge of your professional life. Let's go, guys. A conversation about career counseling and doing an audit of your professional journey and where you might be and where you want to go is such a big conversation in the sense that there are so many layers to this. We're looking at where you are right now, if you're happy, if you're not, if you're looking to change your position. We're looking at your skills, your values. We're looking to see what steps you can take, what actionable steps you can take. Is there a program? Is there a degree? We're looking at personal motivators. This one's huge. We're looking at the personal motivation, what is driving you in your career, or if you're unhappy, what is driving you to make a shift in your career. We're looking at personality and characteristics and traits that you have that help you thrive in an environment that you might be in. As more positions and jobs begin to open up that were never a part of a field before, there's more opportunity to dive into a new space. I think a lot of people are beginning to question the flexibility and the freedom of their position. I think that we're seeing people who are getting more creative than ever before. And I believe that people are making greater leaps of faith when it comes to their career. I think a lot of people are really valuing who they are, their skill set, and how they're spending their time and their days. So the days of putting in these long, hard hours for years upon years upon years to make it to your pension and then retire are starting to shift. We're seeing a shift where people are getting creative. They're making bigger moves. They're making more career moves. And if you have a resume that has different types of jobs where you have moved around, that's no longer frowned upon necessarily. We are looking, of course, at the skills of the position. If you are wanting to be a doctor, you have to have a certain amount of skill set to be able to perform surgery, right? But there are a number of fluid careers that are beginning to really shift. And I think that people are getting more creative. And they're using their transferable skills and they're thinking about their soft skills and they're beginning to pitch themselves in a way that they have never before. And I want you to think about your position or think about where you are in your life right now and what your next move is. I really believe that we have an opportunity for lifelong learning and for growth. And I also believe that every one of us has to put a value and really identify what we want our career and our professional lives to look like. You may be someone that really craves creativity and a lot of movement. That may absolutely terrify you. And you may be someone who really values and wants a stable job where you show up, it's very methodical, you're really good at it, you know what is expected of you. And when you go home, you can close that computer, you can walk away and completely detach. So we can't have the career conversation without first starting with you. A lot of times people will look at the highest salary or they look at what opportunities are in their immediate surroundings or even online, what's accessible to them. And I really want to take this opportunity to ask you, have you taken a step back and done the work in your career reflection? And does it match up with your career goals, where you are right now, and maybe where you want to go? So I'm going to challenge you to do that reflection piece. And it begins with you. So much of this podcast is really rooted in the ability and the need and the ask. I'm going to ask you guys to reflect on your own values, your own situation, and go deeper than the surface. I want you to get to know yourself inside and out so that you can be your best advocate, your best champion, and you get to know the best parts of you, which include getting an idea of if you are someone that is analytical, someone that's creative, someone that thrives in teams, someone that works really well solo, someone that needs unstructured hours, someone that expects and thrives structured hours. And of course, your values are going to shift depending on your life stages. The first episode, Authentic Identity, and that's something that you can always go back to. There's an exercise where in the middle of the paper, you have a circle, and that is you. Then you draw external circles, continuing to go out like a bullseye, and each of those circles contain a different piece of your world, like your community, your family, your relationships, your characteristics, your hobbies. You can do the same for your career. You are always in the center, and you is going to be the biggest part of this circle where you're looking at your skills, your education, at things like your personality assessments, at what you're good at, and then also your character, your demeanor, your preferences. We're going to unpack that today. But then beyond that circle, you certainly have extenuating circumstances that will drive your career. So perhaps you're the breadwinner of your family and your goal is to make more money and bring more income home. Perhaps you are moving and your goal is to find more freedom and flexibility so that you can be at home more, but still bring in the same amount of income and provide structure for your family. Perhaps you're just getting out of school and you're wanting to give away some of your time so that you can value. Maybe you're okay to intern a little bit here and there so that you can take the opportunity and the time to get really laser focused on experience and what it is that you want to do. So again, you have you in the middle, and then outside of that, you have your life circumstances that are really going to be driving. These are the values and the motivators. What are the motivators that are affecting your career decisions? And these definitely change. As I have become a mom, I am very motivated to be able to allocate and align my career and profession to where I can get it down to a few days a week. And it is still really valuable because I care very much about the work that I do. I love working with students. I love working with people. And I want to make a shift into a private space where I'm working with clients, where I'm still getting to be able to do counseling, but I am aligning myself to be a homemaker and be home with my son a little bit more. That has not always been the case. You might be someone who is in between jobs right now and you're craving a new field, a new position. You might be somebody who just graduated and you're ready to use your degree. You might be someone in your mid to late 30s and you're finding that you're in the wrong profession, that it's no longer serving you and you are ready for something new and different. Which, by the way, a majority of individuals who really have that reflective, like I need to have a career shift and change, tends to be in that early 30s to early 40s time period. So let's start with that biggest component, which is you. I want you to think about your skills and your values, and I want you to think about where you are currently. When you take stock of your current situation, are you in a position that you're completely happy? It's your dream job or a job that you really love. It's comfortable. You enjoy it. You're not looking to make any changes, but are you looking to take on a more leadership position? Are you looking to get a salary increase? Are you looking to take a more senior position? You might be somebody who wants a completely different career change entirely. Think about where you are and where you want to go. Give yourself a little bit of a mental stock when you think about your career. When somebody asks you, what do? Do you feel proud? Do you shy away? Do you internally roll your eyes because it's something that you don't really want to talk about and discuss? Those are indicators. Those are those gut indicators of if you're in the right place or not, and if there's something that you can do to make a shift. Or I want you to get clear. You can use a couple tools. So you can start to write down the things about your job that you love, the things about your job that you wish could be different. And of course, if the lists are vastly different, then there's your answer right there. You can also do a visualization activity for the career and the dream job or the dream day that you would like to have in your profession. Our previous episode on scripting is a really great tool for that. So you may be in a position that you really love, but you want your hours to shift. So I want you to get really laser focused about where you are today and where you want to go. Are you looking for personal advancement like salary, a leadership position, or are you looking for a completely big change and you're needing to dig deep and really self-reflect and figure out, like, where do I want to go and how do I get there? Again, so much of our time is spent in our professional lives that it's important to do some self-reflective work. And this doesn't have to be all the time, but perhaps once a year or even once every couple years, it's helpful to sit down and think about the roles and the tasks that you're currently fulfilling in your position. If you are missing something, if you want to advance, if you want to grow, or if you're completely feeling like underwhelmed with the work that you're doing, and really reflect on what that might be. I think it's always really helpful to review and edit your resume, even if you're not looking for another job. And I want you to write down all of the roles and the things that you do that are beyond the scope of your actual job. I think a lot of times we start to take on more tasks as we continue to get more comfortable in a position in a career. Always a good time to get really reflective and focused about what you're doing. Rewrite it down so that you can update your resume in case you need to make a shift, or if you are ready to pitch to your boss or pitch to a senior member of your team why you should deserve a raise. And a lot of times we tend to take on more work, especially as we get more comfortable with the position. So it's always really good to get really reflective about the actual work that you're doing and what it is that you're getting paid for, and if it's worth your time. So a couple actionable tools and things that you can do. Again, update your resume. You can do this just simple on a Google Doc or a Word doc. You can also go on LinkedIn, and if you have an inactive LinkedIn or a LinkedIn that you haven't updated in a while, go through the different sections and get really descriptive about the roles that you've been doing. Have somebody that you respect in the field review your resume. I think that can always be very eye-opening and helpful. When we get really reflective about our professional life and the role that it plays, you, again, want to start with that core unit. That's you. What are your life circumstances? What is your current position? And what are your motivators? Get really clear on that. The second step is a little bit easier because this is more surfacey work. This is updating your resume. This is meeting with a mentor for coffee. This is emailing your resume to someone who can look it over. This is networking in a sense that you meet up with someone for a drink or a coffee, that you respect their position. You go to lunch with a colleague that has a few more years experience. You go to coffee with someone who started a business that you were really hoping to start a business, and you want to pick their brain about how they did it because it seems scary to you. These are the action items. These are the inspired action steps that you take to start to propel yourself moving forward. Is there a program you need to re-enroll in? If you have a degree, is there a skill set that you can tack on by just taking an online class? Like, these are the logistics. How do you add onto your resume, update and finesse your resume in a way that is serving you to meet your goals? This is where you have that just like simple kind of goal setting system for yourself. So I think it's helpful always to get really clear about our intention with our profession. So if you're someone that is looking to completely change professions, but you're in a career right now, perhaps that career that you're in right now, that position is really easy because you've been there for a long time. So use that to your advantage. You might be able to expend very little energy and still show up and do your job. And then when you go home, you spend about an hour or a half an hour working on that business plan, working on that new idea, or updating your resume, or making connections if you are looking to make a shift. So use your current climate to your advantage. Have a goal for yourself. Have a mission statement for yourself. It's almost like when you were applying to college, you were presented with this program and these classes that you can enroll in. And at the end, you're promised a degree, right? So if you were to enroll into a program of your own life and take the certain classes to get to that endpoint where you graduate and you earn the certificate and the diploma, and then you get to be at that next step, what is that program for you? I want you to title it, write it. What classes are you taking? Are you giving yourself an hour so that you can dedicate time and energy to taking online classes? Are you taking an hour out of your day to go get coffee with someone to have an invigorating conversation and a networking opportunity? So what are the classes and the action steps that you can take to earn your way towards that next step of your life? Another layer to the self-development piece and or the self-reflective piece that can be really helpful and valuable to you is Myers-Briggs type indicator, or any personality assessment exam for that matter. There are so many of them out there. I'm certified in Myers-Briggs type indicator and assessments, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's by all means the end all be all. I'm a really big fan of any type of assessment or self-reflective tool that helps you get to know yourself better. Because yes, we can acquire skills. We can Google anything, we can learn anything, we can take a class in anything, but you can't take a class in yourself if you don't do the work and you don't have an idea of what gives or takes away your energy. Do you work better in creative environments, or does that feel very chaotic for you? So, and the Myers-Briggs type indicator assessment, and that's something that we can do an entirely new episode on. If you guys are interested, I think we should. There's so much to unpack there. Within the Myers-Briggs type indicator, there are different preferences, and there are different preference pairs where once you take and figure out your MBTI type, you are able to see your preferences on 4 aspects of personality. For example, extrovert and introvert, this is how you direct and receive your energy. Sensing and intuition, this is how you take information in. Thinking and feeling, how you decide and come to conclusions. And judging and perceiving, this is how you approach the outside world. So how you make decisions, what's your preference? How do you interact with the world around you? How do you show up in your world and give and receive energy? Once you have an idea of your preferences, you can better position yourself in a role that's going to enhance and support and celebrate that. Let's take the sensing and intuition. So people who prefer sensing, you like to take in information that is very real and tangible. So you focus on things that are concrete, that are real and actual in front of you. And you understand ideas and theories through practical applications. If you are more on the intuition preference, you prefer to take in information and you look at things like future possibilities. You are imaginative and you can be verbally creative. You can remember specifics when they relate to a pattern. You follow your hunches more and you trust inspiration. And each of those are completely opposite. And I want you guys to know that we all possess these skills. So if you're imaginative and creative, it doesn't mean that you can't focus on what's factual and concrete in front of you. We all possess these skills, but we tend to lean towards a stronger preference. And this is where it's helpful to get to know which preference you lean towards. Because if you're in a job that's demanding you to be very creative and is not super routine, and you're more on the sensing side, you're more factual, you're more concrete, you may not really love, or you may feel a lot of anxiety or stress in the position you are in. So it's important to get an idea of who we are. You can take a personality assessment, you can take the MBTI, you can use a certified practitioner, you can take them online, but I definitely encourage you, whatever resource that you take, make sure that it's reputable. It's always helpful to talk it out loud with somebody and get to know the language and the verbiage and understand if it makes sense to you and if it's helpful for your journey. Having an idea of your personality preference allows you to reflect on your current roles and positions and ask yourself, is this position causing me anxiety and stress? And does a lot of it have to them not placed appropriately? That's something big here. I want you guys to place yourself in a position where you are thriving, where you are just on your game. And that might not happen overnight if you're in a position that you're not loving. I want you to get smart and take a look at how you can use things to your advantage. Again, if you're in a career that you're not loving, but it's super easy, perhaps you allow it to give yourself a little bit of a cruise. You don't have to use a lot of brain power, and save your brain power for taking an online class, for talking with someone, for building ideas, for journaling, for scripting. Use your power in a different space. If you are looking to make a completely different career jump entirely, see how you can set aside time to really do the research in the career in the field that you're wanting to get into, and start networking and start seeing if you can speak to someone that you respect in the field and ask them, how did you get to where you got to? I think a lot of times we get really intimidated by the fact of someone who's in a senior position. Or if you simply look on Instagram and you see someone who is really good at their niche, really good at their job, and their content is created beautifully, and you just kind of forget that they also started out of nowhere, and that it takes time to build these things. But if you invest in yourself and you invest in research and tools and things that you can do, you will be giving yourself an opportunity to thrive, whether you're looking to change careers or not. Just the fact that you're giving that self-reflective deep dive is so, so important. I want to lastly talk about career competence. This is big delusional energy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. I was reading a book. I'll try to find it and let you know. The big delusional energy, this is that confidence. Like, I may not have all the skills right now, but I'm going to believe that I can figure it out. I believe in myself. I believe in my brain and my mind, and I can get myself there. Again, you can Google, you can look up anything, you can enroll in a program, and you can gain the knowledge and skills. But what you can't ever gain if you don't do the work is that internal confidence in yourself. And that's the work that we have to do. If you feel like you have imposter syndrome, like you aren't supposed to be where you're supposed to be, or you don't have enough skills for where you are, a lot of that is that negative self-limiting belief talk. Use tactics like journaling, use tactics like scripting, use tactics like going back to the basics of what you're really good at and how your transferable and soft skills can be used in a way, in a position that maybe you can take the time to learn and grow and get to know yourself in a way that you're proud of. This may take some time and work. And if you are lacking that confidence and if you have a lot of limiting beliefs, this could be the one thing entirely that is stopping you from advancing in your career or stopping you from having joy and ease and confidence. And you deserve to live a life where a majority of your time in a profession is used in a way that makes you feel good. You have skills that no one else has. You can learn new skills. You have a personality preference and a characteristic and approach to your job that no one else has, and it's a unique makeup for you. And I want you to take the time to really do the research, and not just the skills in the career that you're looking for, but the research in yourself. The confidence and that internal drive is really what we're focused on here. Go back to your personal motivators. What's your why? Why are you showing up for yourself today in this field? Is it to provide a better space for your family? Is it because you crave creativity? Is it because you want to make more money? Whatever it is, go back to that internal motivator and your why and write it down. Put it on a sticky note, put it up in your bathroom mirror, wherever you can put it, to give yourself a reminder to be in the space where you need to be. This is how you can be the boss of your own story. And I promise you that you have the ability to get reflective and really specific about the things that you want. And you can move the needle even incrementally if you invest time and space into yourself. This doesn't have to be big, and it can be a slower process. That's okay, but give yourself the opportunity and the time to do it. And that's what I'm challenging you guys. So take the opportunity to reflect, do that audit on your professional life. And what is one thing that you can do, one actionable tool that we talked about today to help you move that needle towards a better version of yourself in your professional life? Is that reviewing your resume? Is it inviting a mentor for a cup of coffee? Is it enrolling in an online class? Is it doing a scripting exercise where you're writing what your dream career is? Is it taking a personality assessment and meeting with a career coach or a counselor that can help you unpack your answers? I really want you to think about, what is one thing that I can do today that's going to help my future self tomorrow? And then hold yourself to it. And if it's too big, if it feels too much, then go smaller. If simply updating one of the positions in your resume is enough, then that's all you need to do. If it's creating an account on LinkedIn, that's fine. Just give yourself a realistic and attainable goal to help you get motivated on your why and your future. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe to the Mindful Malibu Morning wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Mindful Malibu Morning. And if you are interested in learning more about MBTI, I think we'll do some future episodes, and you can always email me at themindfulmalibumorning@gmail.com. I hope you have a beautiful day. If you want to join me on Monday for meditation, please do, and have an amazing week, you guys.